Hey guys, Kyle from Berkshire Worms. It's 48 hours after we built our compost pile. So we're gonna check the temp. We're shooting for 132 or higher. I can feel the heat coming off it. I think we're gonna be good. You want a longer thermometer. I wasn't able to find one around town, so I'm just gonna dig down a little bit, get close to the center of our pile to get a good temperature. This top layer, we're not going to consider treated thermophilically. So what that means is the center of the pile is what we're treating. So we'll have to turn this a few times to make sure we get the outer part turned into the center a few times to really treat. So we're not too concerned with the outer 6 to 12 inches of the compost. See the steam coming off it. That's good. Oh, we're almost there, 130. Might not be fully heated up yet, but I'm very encouraged with the amount of steam coming off it, and it's at 130. We're not even close to the center of the compost pile with this little thermometer. That's holding steady at 130.4. So we won't record the temperature today. As soon as it hits 132, we'll start recording the temperature every day. If it dips below 132, we will turn the compost pile a little bit. Not a full turn. We'll just try to aerate the best we can to get it back over 132. But we need to keep it at 132 or higher for 15 straight days. And by that time, I think we'll have this pile down about 50%. It's already dropped about 10% from where we had it. Yeah, pretty steady at 130.4. I'm sure if we checked a few other spots in the pile, it would be higher than that. Yeah, just moving the thermometer, we're at 133. $134. So I know the center and bottom of our pile are absolutely up to heat. So we could count today, and we'll just plan on maybe 12 to 18 inches, scraping that off the top. Maybe that won't be treated, but I think with a little bit of time, the top is going to heat up over 132. But about 12 inches down, we're holding steady at 134.2. So I'm very encouraged that just 48 hours into this compost pile, we're at temperature. Which is about what you should be. I mean, it should take about 2 days for the microbes to get active and get your pile up to temp. We don't have any manure in this pile, so we did have to build a little more aeration into it, so that might be more straw than you're used to seeing in a compost pile. We also have some bulkier material And once again, we have our aeration at the bottom. So there's PVC tubes coming out of the bottom, but they run all the way under the pile, and there's a square area here of connected PVC with holes in it. So that'll, as the pile heats up more, it should draw more cold air in to keep it aerated. And as long as it stays over 132, we don't have to turn it. We will kind of poke holes down in to make sure it stays aerated. We don't get any pockets of anaerobic bacteria. But I anticipate only turning it every 15 days. And I'll do that just to process all the outer material as quickly as possible. But the center is ready to go after 15 days above 132. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be maintaining that temperature. We need the hot compost as well as the worm compost. The worms provide an incredible diversity in microbiology that the hot compost isn't necessarily going to replicate, but the worms are very selective with what they'll eat and what they'll tolerate in their environment. The hot compost is kind of like your trash can. It'll accept all organic matter, and it'll break it down and treat it with heat to make it safe. With the worm compost, the worm's gut is what's treating what you put in to make it safe for your plants, for human consumption. To break down potentially pathogenic bacteria like E. coli, the worm's gut will destroy it. To break down potentially pathogenic bacteria like E. coli or Salmonella, the heat in the compost pile is gonna make that safe. So they're both vital, they're both different, and the nice thing is we'll be able to add in biochar as we go, as we make the compost pile. The biochar will soak in all of the beneficial microorganisms. As it heats up, it'll house thermophilic bacteria. As it cools down, it'll house mesophilic bacteria. The nitrogen that breaks down from our kind of rotten food waste that we wouldn't give our worms, it'll soak in that nitrogen, the potassium, the phosphorus, the calcium. We can add in yard waste to the hot compost pile where we just wouldn't add that into the worm pile because it wouldn't break down. The compost from the worms is going to be better for making our compost teas. The compost from the compost bin, due to its more diversity, is going to be a little bit better for soil building. We'll be able to create a lot more compost with our hot compost pile because it's not picky for building our farm with. And we can mix our worm compost into that compost in smaller amounts, spread that biology through our hot compost after it's been treated. And it's a great way to further recycle all of our waste. We're trying to get to being able to recycle and reuse all of our waste. And they both play an important role in that. And the end goal for our multi-system composting setup, and we'll have more to come as well, we'll incorporate bokashi for breaking down fats and meats so we can really break down anything organic. We'll be able to combine all of these elements into one thing, especially in the compost bins. It'll be really easy to mix it all in. But we'll have our hot compost, the worm compost, the bokashi. We'll be combining our compost teas in, the bokashi leachate, the worm leachate, all to be treated thermophilically. And we'll be doing a 50-50 biochar mix. So we'll have half of this incredible ultimate compost and then half biochar. We'll get this hot again, cook the biochar and the compost together, and we'll have Dark Earth by Berkshire Worms. It'll be our initial step towards making true terra preta. This will be our first crack at it. And I'm confident that this is gonna outperform or perform with any soil you can buy on the market. We'll be able to actually, you'll have to dilute this with soil. it'll be so effective, and it'll never break down because of the biochar. It'll be good for 1,000 years. Not only good, it'll get better and better and better every year for 1,000 years. So the best compost you can buy on the market right now, you have to replenish it every 5 years. The better the compost, the faster it breaks down. So we can lock in that biology for 1,000 years with the biochar. So I don't think this will be beat, and it's an excellent way to inoculate your garden, germinate seedlings. It'll be able to do it all, and the effects will be long lasting. So we're very excited, and we're almost there. We'll have it soon.